What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, so we have gotten more developing news from Anthony Richardson, and depending on how you feel about Anthony Richardson, your opinion on this could very well be swayed in a certain direction. So, Anthony Richardson, we found out last week that he was, dealing with some inflammation in his shoulder and was going to be held out of minicamp and potentially through part of training camp. And the national media, even the day after, was saying that Richardson is actually not that bad and inflammation will go down very quickly and he'll be okay come the start of training camp and he'll be ready to go. Well, now Albert Breer on the Rich Eisen show today said that Anthony Richardson will be looking to get another opinion this week from the surgeon who performed his shoulder surgery. That's really about it. There's not many more details to go into than that. All we know is that Richardson is going back to the guy that performed his surgery on his shoulder. What they're talking about, I don't know. Breer mentioned the idea that there's the likelihood that Richardson could go through another surgery, but they said that there's nothing that they have heard that suggests that he is going to do that. But that's just an idea that they're thinking about because obviously you're going back to the doctor that performed your surgery. And Cody, this kind of made me rethink of what I was talking about. Like, in the last time that we talked about this, when we first heard this news, remember I said that why are we having an issue with this inflammation in the throwing shoulder? I thought that when he did this surgery, we got told that there's virtually never going to be a problem with his shoulder ever again. Like, we got told there's no long-lasting damage. And we're finding out now that's not the case. He's now got some, and who knows what it is. Is it inflammation? Did he re-aggravate it to the point where he literally has to stop throwing again for another 2 to 3 months just to be able to make sure it doesn't do anything? Like, where are we at with this point? And I mean, all in all, regardless of whether or not Richardson is still on track to make it to start a training camp or not, this is you. Cody, you don't go back to the guy that performed your surgery unless there was a serious problem you needed to consult him with.
Yeah, you don't get a second opinion. If it's like to this point where you should be well past that, Derek. I mean, we said it in the previous video. Like, this happened in 23, right? Like, he got it repaired in 23. This isn't just like something that he got repaired last year even, So it is very concerning at this point. And I'll just say this right off the bat, because I know it was pretty harsh on Shane Steichen. I'll own that, and I'll say I was wrong. I think I owe Shane Steichen an apology there, because, I mean, just because, Derek, this whole situation has just been, I mean, we heard, the initial thing that happened when Shane Steichen said there's no timetable, and then we hear, a conflicting report. Oh, he's going to be ready by training camp. Something's not sitting right there, Derek. Something is amiss here, and we have to kind of figure this out, because on one hand, you can't be saying I'm going to be 100% ready for training camp and then be seeking a second opinion on your throwing shoulder. Now, again, he's still good. It could end up being nothing, but Derek, I know sometimes we can definitely overreact on this channel, for sure. I mean, we're fans. We do that. But for me, man, it makes me nervous. Like, it makes me nervous because how are we to the point where we're in June and you're getting a second opinion? I'm just nervous that this is going to be a continual thing, because it's not, like I said, it's not just, the off shoulder. This is your throwing shoulder. It's a big deal. And you're already one of the most, if not the most inaccurate quarterbacks we've seen in a long time. And now you're continuing to have issues with this shoulder, ongoing issues. I'm concerned, dude. I'm concerned. I'm very concerned what's kind of going to be the future with AR if we're to this point or not even to the regular season yet. Not even to training camp yet, even.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself while you and I are talking about this, trying to make sense of what's going on here. And I think to myself, well, maybe he's going to potentially say, like, hey, is there something different that I should be doing so that, this type of thing doesn't happen anymore? Like, I would think that would be the case.
Right.
But when I say that, I think to myself, well, when he got the surgery, odds are the doctors gave him a list of things that he needs to do so that this stuff doesn't happen. Or if you wanted a different opinion on different things to do, you would just call them and then they would send you info. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
don't schedule an appointment with the guy that did a surgery that you're now having complications on unless you're starting to think that there might actually still be something wrong with the shoulder. And now you're at a point, Cody, where on people's first reaction to seeing this clip, there's people that are saying this might be the end times for Anthony Richardson. This might be the end times. It's not like there was ever beginning times, but there's ending. It's the end times before we even get to the beginning times.
The good times lasted about 2 games,
It's
honestly.
yeah, literally, and it's. I don't want to go there yet because
No,
for
of
all
course.
we know, this could very well just be a lot of smoke and not really a fire. So I won't react that way until it goes to a fire. But I mean, Cody, this is just frustrating, man. This is so frustrating because it's like, because honestly, in a way, it's not even really Anthony Richardson's fault. He got hurt on a very routine play that a lot of people have had a similar injury to. And, he had a surgery and people said it was going to work just fine. And then, he went a whole year without having an issue. And now all of a sudden, we're finding out there's an issue again. Now, if he wasn't a quarterback, then this shoulder would not be a problem right now. But the fact that he is a quarterback makes it a whole heck of a lot worse because he has to use that shoulder in order to
Yeah.
throw the football.
Yeah, the throwing shoulder. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So
for sure.
I don't know, man. I'm very concerned
Yeah.
that we are going to have a season in which Daniel Jones is going to be our quarterback. It's looking very much likely that Daniel Jones is going to be highlighting this season.
Well, and again, you don't want to overreact because there's still a lot of time between now and even the start of the regular season. But I think at the very least, Derek, it puts Anthony Richardson behind. I mean, it just puts him behind in this QB competition, regardless of if he's out for a couple days of training camp, if he's ready for day one or not, like he's still going to be behind in some capacity because he missed, part of the spring. And in a quarterback competition like this, where there are no favorites, like it's going to be tough. So yeah, you don't want to overreact to something in June, but it's definitely concerning, Derek. I mean, just because, like you said, for Anthony Richardson, the person, like, there's not, it's like, it sucks. It sucks for him because, he wants to be out there, he wants to be throwing, but it just feels like there's just been one thing after the other with him. Unfortunately, man, we love the kid. We love his attitude. And just what he did after he got benched last year. Like, I like how he approached it and has approached it this season. But man, it's very unfortunate that the first 3 years of Anthony Richardson's young career have just been marred by injury after injury after injury. It's very unfortunate. And I'm hopeful, like you said, that it's a lot of smoke. Hopeful that he's back and doesn't have that issue. But Derek, I think that we would be foolish to say long term it's not concerning, because it is concerning. Like, the dude's missed more time than he's played. I mean, at this point, Derek, you're starting to get to the point where it's like the amount of injuries he's had is starting to almost creep up to the point of how many games he's played. Like, we're reaching that point with Richardson, which is just very unfortunate because we know the talent's there. I like this kid's attitude going into this year, but it's just a weird situation where you never want to see it, whoever it is, regardless if you're Team Daniel Jones or Team Anthony Richardson. It's just very unfortunate to see the kid having to continue to go back. It's like you can't have a full offseason without something happening. It's just very unfortunate. It's either rehabbing or having something else wrong. And it just sucks, man. And like you said, I think some fans are kind of to the point where it's like, all right, who are some of the quarterbacks in 2026 coming out?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be like that because the season hasn't even started yet, but it's concerning when you don't have confidence that you have a quarterback on the roster that can be the future, whether it's injuries, whether it's play, whatever it is. And heck, Derek, not to go off too much of the topic here, but even if Daniel Jones has a average season, you're still probably looking for a quarterback in 2026. That's just where we're at right now. So it's just a weird place to be when, I just feel like over the past year or two, like just even in the summer, there's always been some sort of hype. There's been some sort of, excitement for Colts fans. And I don't know, Colts fans are just kind of in this weird spot right now. I think we all are. And this injury situation with Anthony Richardson is just another thing that we add to it, where it's just like, man, we just want another quarterback that we can root for the next couple years. Like, we want a quarterback that we can believe can be our future. And it's just been unfortunate that injuries and inconsistent play have just, unfortunately, up to this point, kind of derailed that for AR. And hopefully he can figure it out. Hopefully this isn't a long-term thing, but there certainly are concerns. And I'm hopeful that he can work through those concerns. But I don't know, Derek, I'm kind of preparing for what this season might be, and I'm honestly not sure how to feel about it.
Yeah, I'm very concerned, and I don't know. We're obviously gonna find out within the next, we're obviously gonna find out sometime this week, most likely, what that particular doctor is saying about Anthony Richardson's soreness, if that's even what it is. And we're gonna find out, but like you said, I'll apologize to Steichen too. I not excluding what he has done a lot of last year. Obviously, we have reason to not always trust the insight and stuff that he gives us, which oftentimes isn't really a lot. But for this particular circumstance, obviously, he was right. He doesn't know. He doesn't know because Anthony Richardson doesn't know. And Anthony Richardson doesn't know because that's why he's going to see the doctor again. So we'll have to see. We'll definitely continue to keep you guys updated as soon as we know more on it. But that's going to do it for this one. Let us know your guys' thoughts on this Anthony Richardson situation. Thank you so much. And as always, go Colts.